Right friends, welcome back to News at a Glance for 51st week, and look at the first one. The Supreme Court has stated that Jammu and Kashmir has got no vestige of sovereignty outside the Indian Constitution. I have given the entire picture here. Here there is a clash between Surface Sea Act as well as the Act of Jammu and Kashmir State Government. There is a clash between Surface Sea Act as well as some Jammu and Kashmir Act. All of you are familiar with Article 370. Article 370 gives special powers to Jammu and Kashmir, and some time back Jammu and Kashmir High Court stated that Surface Sea Act is not applicable to Jammu and Kashmir as it collides with the Transfer of Property Act of Jammu and Kashmir 1920. And now the Supreme Court stated that the Constitution of India is supreme and J&K Constitution is subordinate to the Constitution of India. Indian Constitution is supreme and J&K Constitution is subordinate to the Indian Constitution. That is the verdict of Supreme Court. And this is because of the reason Article 370 gives special powers to Jammu and Kashmir. Right? Look into the next issue. Government announced Lieutenant General Bipin Rawat to be the next Chief of Army. And it created a lot of controversy because the two persons were bypassed. And I am not going into those details. Present Army Chief is Dalbir Singh, and in his place at present Lieutenant General Bipin Rawat will become our Army Chief on 31st December. And at the same time, if you look at Air Force, B.S. Dhanova, Air Marshal B.S. Dhanova will be the new Air Chief, and he is replacing Arup Raha, who is retiring on December 31st. Then the central government has decided that all the savings bank accounts will be linked to Aadhaar, and it is no secret that government is going ahead with more and more Aadhaar related transactions, Aadhaar linked transactions, and in future for digital transactions also biometric authentication may become the norm of the day. Government is pushing in that direction. Look into the next one. Government formed interministerial task force. This interministerial task force on Indus Water Treaty. There was a lot of discussion on Indus Water Treaty in recent times, and a task force was constituted by the central government, which will be headed by the Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister, Nrupendra Mishra. And if you want more about Indus Water Treaty, it was signed on 19th September 1960. The then President of Pakistan, Muhammad Ayub Khan, and the then Indian Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, and World Bank is also the signatory. That is very important point. And I have given the details here. Please go through them. It is bifurcated into 3 western rivers and 3 eastern rivers. Please look into this. 3 western rivers. Water is almost allocated to Pakistan. India can use only limited water as far as Indus, Jhelum, Chenab are concerned. And at the same time, if you look at eastern rivers, India has got exclusive powers on Ravi, Beas, Satluj. These things please don't forget. And at the same time, I would like to tell you, Beas is the tributary of Satluj river. So these things don't forget. And if you look into the next item, China seized unmanned underwater vehicle of United States of America in the contentious South China Sea. Please look into this. South China Sea is claimed by 5 countries. In addition to China, China is claiming exclusive sovereignty over most of the islands and most of the waters of South China Sea. South China Sea waters are very important because it is the important trade route to East Asian countries as well as Southeast Asian countries. That's why rival countries have got competing claims over South China Sea, and the recent verdict on South China Sea is not accepted by China. That is different story. Now one unmanned underwater vehicle was seized by China, and subsequently it was handed over to America, and this unmanned underwater vehicle, as America says, is being used for scientific research. Right friends, look into the next one. Ban Ki-moon is retiring on 31st December. Ban Ki-moon is 8th Secretary General. Antonio Guterres, the former Prime Minister of Portugal, will be the 9th Secretary General of United Nations. That is one part. And South Korea's next presidential elections are scheduled in 2017 December. And Ban Ki-moon may compete for the presidential elections. All of you are well aware, the president of South Korea, Park Geun-hye, was recently impeached. And look into the next one. 11-member committee on digital payments, headed by the former Finance Secretary Ratan P. Wattal, gave its report. The important recommendation is with regard to digital payments. The committee recommended separation of payments under Payments and Settlements Act. Please don't forget, Payments and Settlement Act, that comes under the purview of Reserve Bank of India. You are looking at this mobile wallets as well as various digital payments are being paid nowadays. These comes under Payments and Settlement Act, and this is regulated by Reserve Bank of India. Now the committee came up with innovative proposal that these digital transactions are to be bifurcated. Big transactions on one side, small transactions on the other side. Big transactions, the name is systemically important payment system. Let that be regulated by Reserve Bank of India, and it recommended Payments Regulatory Board for small payments. But RBI is not agreeing with the recommendations. Look into the next one. Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, that came into effect on December 17. We deliberated as a separate capsule last week. Please view it. Here important aspect is 25% of the undisclosed income which now disclosed will be locked in for 4 years under Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana deposit scheme. Overall tax, surcharge, penalty is 49.9%. These things don't forget. India-Cyprus DTAA is going to come into effect from 1st April 2017. That is one part. And the old DTAA belongs to 1994. And 2-3 points I would like to tell you. The amended double taxation avoidance agreements are going to come into force from 1st April 2017. Not only Cyprus but also Mauritius. So Mauritius and Cyprus will have new double taxation avoidance agreement protocols with India from 1st April 2017. That is one part. Second important aspect is, now it will become source-based taxation. If sale takes place, sale of shares takes place in the country where they were purchased, then taxation will be in that country. So that is a source-based taxation. Previously, it was residence-based taxation. That is one part. And the second important aspect is grandfathering of existing investments will be there. Grandfathering of existing investments. What do you understand by it? For the investments made prior to 1st April 2017. For the investments made prior to 1st April 2017, they will not come under the new DTAA protocol. So that is known as grandfathering of investments. If some investment is made in 2016 and if it was sold in 2018, that will not come under the new DTAA protocol. That is known as grandfathering of investments. This is one important term in economy. Then look into the next one. Parliament passed Rights of Persons with Disabilities Bill 2016. Here the types of disabilities are increased from 7 to 21. That is one important aspect. And new categories like autism, then cerebral palsy, then muscular dystrophy. These are included, and if you want more, please view the capsule of last week. Reserve Bank of India capped the merchant discount rates. You may have a doubt, what is merchant discount rate? If you are paying through some card, then merchant discount rate will be there, which will be paid by the merchants to the banks. The shop owners have to pay something to the banks, and here the Reserve Bank of India stipulated maximum merchant discount rate. Why Reserve Bank of India stipulated? If the merchant discount rate is more, then naturally the shopkeeper will try to pass on that to the customer. The payment to be made by the customer will increase. So as to avoid that, Reserve Bank of India has stipulated merchant discount rate for debit card transactions at 0.25% up to rupees 1000, and from rupees 1000 right up to rupees 2000 it will be 0.5%. And at the same time, Reserve Bank of India also stated that there should not be any transaction charges up to rupees 1000 settled through USSD based platform or UPI systems. Then Union Government approved the strategic disinvestment. Strategic disinvestment, what is the meaning? The meaning is selling the majority stake. Government will come out of management control. So this Pawan Hans Helicopters Limited is going to be sold. You may ask, who are the owners of Pawan Hans Helicopters? 51% by government, 49% by ONGC, and primarily it was started in the year 1985 for providing helicopter support to oil sector for its offshore exploration. When oil exploration is taking place in the seas, so as to facilitate reaching the persons there onto the platforms, this Pawan Hans helicopter service was started in the year 1985. Subsequently, it was also intended for promotion of tourism and services in remote and hilly areas. Then Supreme Court stated that Indian Air Force personnel cannot keep a beard. And here the Supreme Court stated that Article 33 of the Constitution, this is important, Article 33 of the Constitution has the authority to impose restrictions on the fundamental rights of armed forces personnel. Right? Then look into the next one. Supreme Court ordered that there should not be any liquor shops nearer to national highways and state highways. They must be at least 500 meters away from outer edge of national highways or service lanes. So you should not see any liquor shop from March 31 onwards up to 500 meters from national highways or state highways. The biggest problem now for implementation is when a national highway is passing through some urban area. Whether the governments are going to implement in true letter and spirit is the $1 million question. Look into the next one. Indian junior hockey team won the world title after 15 years. Indian junior hockey team won the world title by defeating Belgium by 2-1. The previous victory was in 2001. So the victory came after 15 years. You may ask, who is the captain? Captain is Harjeet Singh. Where it was played? It was played in Major John Chand Stadium in Lucknow. So these things don't forget. Then look into the next one. Russian ambassador to Turkey, Andrei Karlov, was shot dead in Ankara by an Ankara policeman. And he was apparently protesting at Russia's involvement in Syria's Aleppo city. Look into this. This is Aleppo. Aleppo is into humanitarian crisis. the Syrian city of Aleppo was caught in the crossfire with the government forces supported by Russia as well as other countries on one side, and on the other side rebel forces supported by Western countries. So one of the biggest humanitarian crises is taking place in Aleppo in recent days. Then a lorry plowed through the popular market in West Berlin, which killed 12 people. More than this news, what I want to convey is Germany attracted maximum number of migrants in European Union. European Union has got 28 countries. Out of 28 countries, Angela Merkel of Germany has followed open door policy on migration. Because of her open door policy on migration, last year around 9 lakh people arrived in Germany, and now some critics are expressing their fears about the safety to the citizens because some antisocial elements might have entered Germany along with the migrants. Look into the next one. IMF chief Christine Lagarde, all of you are familiar with International Monetary Fund chief Christine Lagarde. She was found guilty of negligence over a massive state payout to a business tycoon. Here there is a flimsy charge on her. The charge is Christine Lagarde, when she was finance minister of France, failed to contest massive payment to some industrialist. The charge is she has not taken any bribes and she failed to contest the massive payments made to some businessmen. Though the charge is flimsy, but in Western countries, these type of charges due to negligence are quite common. But these are not the issues which people take seriously in a country like India. Look into the next one. India defeated England by an innings and 75 runs in Chennai Test. Here so many records were established. First and the foremost is India established a record with unbeaten in 18 tests. India has not lost a single test during the past 18 tests. And the last defeat was against Sri Lanka in August 2015. That is the one part. And India won 5 series consecutively. One against Sri Lanka on Sri Lankan soil by 2-1, against South Africa 3-0, against West Indies 2-0, against New Zealand 3-0, against England 4-0, right? And look into the next one. National Green Tribunal imposed interim nationwide ban on the use of glass-coated manja for flying kites. What is the problem? Please look into this. This is a glass-coated thread. And what is the problem with this glass-coated? The basic problem is this sharp string is dangerous to human beings, animals, as well as birds. The ban will apply on nylon, Chinese and cotton manja coated with glass. These things don't forget. Look into the next one. Consumer price index is reached its lowest since November 2014. It is 3.63%. Probably the decline is due to demonetization of high value notes in November 2016. And after demonetization, basically crash in perishable items in farm markets occurred. Recently, we are seeing people are dumping tomatoes on roads, and because of the crash in perishable goods like vegetables, this consumer price index fell to 3.63%. Several cricket records were set in the 5th test at M.A. Chidambaram Stadium in Chennai. If someone talks about M.A. Chidambaram Stadium, this is in Chennai. And we talked about Motera Stadium sometime back. Motera Stadium or Sardar Patel Stadium is in Ahmedabad. It is going to be the world's largest stadium once it is enhanced. At present, the world's largest stadium in terms of seating capacity is the Melbourne Cricket Ground in Australia. And now this Motera Stadium or Sardar Patel Stadium is going to become world's #1 once it is expanded to around seating capacity of 1,10,000 people. That is one part. And when you come back to this test, India scored 759 per 7, and this is the highest score in test cricket. And Karun Nair, he became the second Indian batsman to score a triple hundred. Virendra Sehwag scored 319 and 309 previously, and now Karun Nair scored 303 not out in 381 balls. Right, and Karun is only the third batsman in the world to convert his maiden century into triple century after Garfield, Sobers as well as Bob Simpson. Right, look into the next one. Central Board of Trustees of the Employees Provident Fund Organization reduced the interest rate payable to Provident Fund savings to 8.65% against 8.8% for 2015-16. This is reduced by 0.15%, and here one important aspect is the corpus of Employees Provident Fund Organization mostly invested in government securities. When the interest rate structure on government securities is falling, then EPF4 returns also will fall. Right, look into the last one. President appointed Justice J.S. Khehar as the 44th Chief Justice. We have discussed last week, and he will be the 44th Chief Justice, first Chief Justice from Sikh community, and he will attain 65 years in August 2017 because 65 years is the age when the Chief Justice of the country retires. Then he was associated with the two landmark judgments. One is he led the 5-judge Constitution Bench which struck down National Judicial Appointments Commission Act. Second one is he also headed the bench which set aside the imposition of President's rule in Arunachal Pradesh. Right? With this, let us conclude News at a Glance. Have a nice day. Thank you.